In the opening scene, we are introduced to Jun, a young boy who lives in an orphanage. His parents died in a car accident some years back, and that's how he ended up here. Jun finds solace in his passion for drawing, considering it a means to keep negativity at bay and bring happiness into his life. Alongside his artistic talent, Jun also possesses impressive fighting abilities. He shows us a small demo by successfully defeating a 9th grade student. It is revealed that he inherited this trait from his father, who was a former national-level taekwondo player. One evening, a chief agent affiliated with the National Intelligence Service named Deokyu pays a visit to the orphanage. Aware of Jun's fighting prowess, Deokyu aims to train and recruit him as an undercover agent. He encourages Jun to aspire for greatness and follow in his father's footsteps by contributing to the nation. From that point forward, Jun embarks on his training, gradually developing into a formidable fighter and earning the prestigious title of an elite assassin. But despite all this, Jun remains committed to his passion for drawing. He is always making new sketches even when on dangerous missions. One day, Jun is assigned a mission to apprehend Simon, a fugitive and the younger brother of a notorious criminal named Jason. Jun easily manages to capture Simon alive, and during the subsequent interrogation, the National Intelligence Service, also known as NIS, discovers that Jason has recently departed Busan by ship. A few moments later, a talented newcomer to the NIS named Cheol enters the scene to receive training on criminal interrogation techniques. However, before they can delve further into the matter, Simon passes away due to the gruesome torture. Following this, Deokyu orders Jun to eliminate Jason with utmost urgency. Without any delay, Jun gears up and boards a helicopter that is bound for Jason's ship. Upon reaching the specified area, he bravely leaps from the helicopter, but unfortunately, fails to deploy his parachute, resulting in a dangerous fall into the sea. In the aftermath of this incident, Jun is presumed dead, leading his team to gather and offer a final tribute in his honor. However, their assumption proves to be incorrect as it is revealed that Jun is actually alive. In a surprising turn of events, Jun seems to have staged his own death to abandon his role as an undercover agent and pursue a career as an artist. The story then fast-forwards by 15 years, where Jun has become a webtoon artist. He is currently married to a hard-working woman named Mina, and they have a 9-year-old daughter, Jia Yang. At first glance, it appears as if they are living happily, but things are quite different from the inside. Jun is struggling badly at work and he is always under constant pressure to meet his editor's deadlines. He is also subjected to negative comments that undermine his confidence. This has resulted in a serious lack of finances at home. But despite his shortcomings, his wife remains devoted to him and supports him in every way possible. She works double shifts while Jun takes care of all the household chores, including cleaning, cooking, and preparing their daughter for school. He also secretly works at a construction company to support the family. Currently, Jun is working on a comic project that is not meeting expectations, much like his previous works. However, the consequences this time around are dire, as his editor demands that he conclude the comic in the very next episode due to the reader's lack of interest. Jun pleads for an opportunity to continue as he needs money, but his pleas fall on deaf ears. That evening, feeling dejected, Jun sits in front of the television with a drink and reflects on his declining life. Frustration overwhelms him to the point where he begins writing a comic that vividly recounts his own past, including intricate details of his journey as an undercover agent. The following morning, Jun awakens to a surprising change in his wife's demeanor. As she prepares breakfast, she informs him that she thoroughly enjoyed his recently written comic and took the initiative to publish it on his behalf. She proudly shares the positive comments from readers who have shown great enthusiasm for the comic. This revelation sends Jun into a state of panic, as he never intended to divulge any details from his past, especially the sensitive and confidential information it contains. Worried, Jun hurriedly rushes to the editor's office, pleading to retract the published comic. He insists that he only wrote it while under the influence of alcohol. However, the editor adamantly refuses, citing the public's appreciation and enjoyment of the work. In the next scene, as Jun returns home dejected, it suddenly begins raining. Concerned that his daughter, Jia Yang, did not carry an umbrella, he heads to her school to pick her up. While waiting outside, he observes Jia Yang's friends being collected by their affluent parents in luxurious cars. This sight deeply affects him, as he realizes his inability to provide even a piano for his daughter. Hence, Jun ultimately makes the decision to create further narratives based on his past experiences. He writes thrilling accounts of capturing notorious criminals as well as his exploits as an elite assassin. With the publication of these new stories, the comics rapidly spread across the internet, capturing the interest of a wide audience, including Mina's colleagues, Jia Yang's classmates, Jun's editor, and numerous children in the town. As time goes by, the family gradually manages to overcome their financial crisis. As a result, Jun finally fulfills his daughter's long-standing desire by purchasing a piano for her. However, along with greater success comes greater challenges. Elsewhere, Diakyu visits a cybernet facility in order to conduct an investigation, but he is taken aback when he comes across two children who possess extensive knowledge about the secret missions of the National Intelligence Service. This includes classified information regarding the training provided to underage children and molding them into merciless assassins. Curious about the source of their information, Diakyu engages the children in conversation and discovers that it all stems from the recent viral comics. Upon going through it, he is astonished to learn that the comics even have the real names of the NIS agents and the criminals. Later, a worried Diakyu holds an emergency meeting with the NIS officials. During their discussion, they reach a startling conclusion: Jun, a highly skilled former agent renowned for his extraordinary drawing abilities, is alive and is responsible for exposing the NIS through the medium of his comics. Concerned about the potential repercussions for the nation, the director of the NIS, Hyung-do, tasks a team with locating and apprehending Jun. That evening, a grown-up Cheol and Hyung-do visit the editor's office to gather information about Jun's whereabouts. Seeing the government officials storming his office, the editor gets scared and immediately divulges that Jun has been working part-time at a construction site. Shortly after, the NIS agents arrive at the said location and surround Jun. However, our hero, using his extraordinary skills, manages to subdue each of the agents without much effort. He then quickly returns home and prepares to leave the country. For this, he also calls his wife and informs her of the situation. However, Mina fails to comprehend his message and assumes he is intoxicated, prompting her to abruptly end the call. Within moments, the NIS agents break into Jun's residence, launching an attack against him. In the midst of the chaos, Cheol removes his mask, revealing his face to Jun. Jun is taken aback to see him again, which creates a momentary distraction that allows the NIS to incapacitate him before taking him into custody. Back at the editor's office, the main villain, Jason, and his accomplices show up, seeking information about Jun's whereabouts. Meanwhile, at NIS headquarters, Jun undergoes interrogation regarding the comic. He claims that he wrote it accidentally while in a state of drunkenness. However, Hyung-do remains skeptical and calls him a traitor. Shortly after, Jun receives a distressing call from his wife, and learns that she is being held captive by some kidnappers. They are none other than Jason's men. Jason threatens Jun to come over to his hideout, along with Diakyu. If he fails to do so within the next hour, his wife will be executed. Worried about the safety of his family, Jun reluctantly agrees to comply. In a calculated move, he pretends to confess everything and calls Diakyu for the same. But at an opportune moment, he launches a sudden attack on Diakyu, successfully retrieving his gun and holding him at gunpoint. Using this leverage, Jun escapes from the NIS headquarters and heads towards the kidnappers. En route, he explains the entire predicament to Diakyu. The next scene portrays a thrilling car chase between Jun and the NIS agents. After a period of evasion, Jun enters a tunnel where he knocks down the agents who are pursuing him before resuming his escape. Soon after, one of Jason's henchmen arrives at the scene and eliminates the agents to ensure that they are not being tracked. Then, Hyung-do and his team reach the tunnel, only to discover the lifeless bodies of their agents. This leads him to believe that Jun is the one who killed all of them. Furthermore, Hyung-do learns that Jason is in the same town, fueling his belief that Jun is collaborating with him to take down NIS. Consumed by anger, Hyung-do kidnaps Jia Yang and uses her as leverage to force Jun out. The plan works, and as soon as Jun receives the news, he changes his direction and heads towards his daughter. Along the way, he contacts Jason, assuring him that he will return once he rescues his daughter from NIS custody. However, Mina misunderstands her husband's intentions, believing that he has abandoned her. This causes her immense pain, so she grabs a few bottles of alcohol present in the room and drinks it. On the other hand, Cheol, having reservations about harming a child, feigns taking Jia-yeon to the restroom and seizes the opportunity to escape. He then sends a text message to Jun, summoning him to a meeting location and awaits his arrival. However, it turns out to be a trap, as Cheol confronts Jun at gunpoint, demanding his surrender. Fortunately, they are able to clarify the misunderstanding, and Diakyu updates Cheol on Jun's current predicament. With everything sorted out, they agree to team up and head to rescue Mina. Before proceeding to confront Jason, they make a stop at Jun's former residence, which Cheol now uses as a storage place for weapons. There, they gather some necessary supplies, but before they leave, they hear the NIS approaching. Thinking quickly, June delivers a series of powerful punches to Cheol and asks him to pretend that he lost him along the way. In their haste, June and Deokyu inadvertently leave the bag containing the weapons behind. Shortly after, Hyung-do and his troops arrive at the scene and discover the abandoned bag of weapons. This leads Hyung-do to believe that June is planning to initiate a war against the NIS. Although Cheol tries to convince him otherwise, Hyung-do remains adamant in his stance. Meanwhile, June, Deokyu, and Jae-yang reach Jason's hideout. June and Deokyu step outside while the little girl remains in the car, secretly recording their actions before sending the footage to Cheol. Upon viewing it, Hyung-do and his soldiers trace the location and set off towards the hideout. On the other hand, Jason and June finally come face to face. The latter asks for the release of his wife, and Jason's henchmen bring her out in a heavily intoxicated form. However, before allowing the couple to depart, Jason demands that June inflict the same torture upon Deokyu as he did to Simon. Left with no other option, June reluctantly agrees, but even this fails to satisfy Jason. In a cruel twist, he grabs a flamethrower and begins to unleash flames upon Deokyu. It appears as if the poor man is going to meet a horrible death, but right then, the NIS agents storm into the hideout, sparking a fierce shootout between the two factions. After holding Jason and his men at gunpoint, Hyung-do commands his soldiers to eliminate June. In a desperate attempt to defend him, Mina, Cheol, and Deokyu intervene, but Hyung-do remains resolute. He issues a final order to his sniper, who then takes aim at June. But as the shot is fired, Cheol surprisingly leaps in front of June and takes the hit on his shoulder. At that moment, Jason's right-hand man, who is positioned on a higher vantage point, opens fire on the NIS agents. Fearing for the safety of his family and friends, June retrieves a gun and aims at the enemy sniper, but Jason shoots him multiple times and sends him crashing to the ground. Mina and Jae-yang are devastated witnesses to this tragic scene. In the aftermath of this event, Jason holds the remaining NIS agents hostage. It appears as if all hope is lost, but in a remarkable turn of events, June astonishingly rises to his feet, having worn a double layer of bulletproof vest. Swiftly, he grabs a gun and detonates a gas tank, creating a diversion to distract Jason's men. This sparks a fierce brawl between Jason's henchmen and the NIS agents. In the midst of the chaos, June approaches Mina and Jae-yang, offering them his bulletproof vest for their safety and apologizing for concealing his past. Following this, Cheol engages in combat with a group of Jason's henchmen. Deokyu faces Jason's right-hand man, whereas June goes after the main villain. Meanwhile, the coward Hyung-do takes cover beneath the body of a fallen soldier. Leveraging his exceptional fighting skills, June manages to throw Jason out of a window, killing him brutally. With this, he fulfills the final mission which he had abandoned 15 years ago. In the final scene, we are shown that June and his family are now living peacefully, far away from the world of crime and terror. One day, Cheol pays a visit to him, urging him to rejoin the NIS, but June politely declines the offer, choosing to pursue his dream as a webtoon artist, just as he had always envisioned.